Hi, welcome back to Renee Real Estate. Hope everyone is doing well. Renee, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm excellent.
We have a guest of honor.
We do. Liz Pino's in the house.
She's like, thank you.
ESP agent. Welcome, Liz.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Doing
Yeah. So, Liz, how long have you been in real estate? Let's get right to it.
Let's talk about your life. A year and a half, I think.
Okay.
Coming up on probably 2 years almost.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I heard, well, I know because I see the back office, but you iconed in your first year.
I did. That is
Which is amazing. So for anyone that doesn't know, what does it mean to icon?
So with eXp Realty, you have this opportunity to earn your stock back. To earn stock, but you basically get your cap back, your company dollar at $16,000, and you have to produce at a high level. To be specific, once you cap, you have to do 20 transactions. That's essentially the crux of it. Obviously, there's a little bit more fine detail about, a cultural commitment and giving back to your community and whatnot.
Right.
But the biggest one is that you've got to hit those 20 units after you've capped.
And
To be eligible for
Right, to be eligible to be able
Yeah.
Right.
to do that. So what was that like for you? Because obviously coming in first year, was that your goal right off the bat? You knew that was what you wanted to do?
Tell your story.
Tell your story. We want to hear.
No, it was. I'm kind of crazy in that I set these big goals for myself, obviously starting out small, but like looking at the big picture of this vision. Renee's the reason why I came to EXP. She shared with me all that it had to offer and like the models, and I'm like, this doesn't exist anywhere else. It doesn't,
No.
Like this company, to me, it's one of a kind and it's limitless. I'm very much like a break the glass ceiling kind of person, you know what I mean? Like it's there to do what? To be broken, right? And so I was like, Renee, I want to do this. Like she did it 3 times. And that was an inspiration to me because I was like, oh my gosh, she's done it multiple times. And I was like, I want to do it. And I was like, but I don't want to do it in my year 3 or my year 5. I was like, I want to do it my first year, still branching out as this brand new solo agent on my own. I don't know. I set that as my goal and I went after it. So.
Yeah. So what was the planning process for you? Like as far as like, because a few episodes ago we talked to Fred Jackson, who's Renee's drummer, and he actually just got licensed. We were having a whole conversation about goals and goal setting. So what did that look like for you?
Okay, so here's this icon accomplishment.
Yeah.
You've got a cap and get your, pay $16K for your commissions, and then you got to sell 20 more in a 12-month span. So here's Liz, like new into this company, not even a full year, but she just dipped her toes in the water when I met her because you were at a different company and we did a deal together. That's how we met.
Oh, nice.
And so, yeah, you didn't know that. Yeah, we did a deal together.
Backstory.
She was the listing agent, I was the buyer's agent, so we started chatting and
Nice.
so yeah, and I explained, I was like, hey, have you looked at this? I was like, because she just, no, there is, like, you're instinctively a go-getter, and I knew that from the minute I met you, but just because you're a go-getter, breaking this down into digestible chunks, like let's say you were talking to a brand new agent, like how did you look at that goal besides like sheer absolute will and determination?
And that's
what did you do?
So something you've actually told me about, like this book, The 12-Week Year. That book's amazing. I think every agent should read it because that's kind of the model that I did. So the saying, like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So just picture like iconing as this elephant. And so I was like, okay, I've got a cap. What is it going to take for me to cap? It's around 10 to 15 transactions, depending on your price point.
Sure.
Now, for me in particular, I'm at a much lower price point. I'm not a premier agent. I'm not a luxury agent. I'm a very right here kind of agent. You know what I mean? And so my price point was low. So a lot of people can cap in very little transactions.
Sure.
10 is kind of like an average, but for me being in a much lower bracket, it definitely took me more. It was closer to, I want to say 13, maybe even 15, right?
Wow.
So for me, I was like, all right, number 1 goal is cap, right? I have to cap. And then after that, it's 20. But then I took it and I broke it down into, okay, how many months do I have left? And then I did quarters. So I was like, all right, there's 4 quarters in a year. So these are my goals for Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4.
Right.
I'm like a really data-driven, person. Like I'm spreadsheets, I'm information, I'm facts. So I put it all into a spreadsheet. and I set my goals and I made it all timeline. So I broke it down, to 12 months, then like I said, to 4 quarters, then each month, then bi-weekly, then weekly, then daily. And like you have to set this schedule where you're like, okay, in order to hit this, I have to make this many touches. I gotta contact this many people. I gotta nurture XYZ amount of leads, right? I gotta hit my pipeline from all different angles to try to be like, okay, I've got to build this out to make it tangible. And so essentially that's what I did. You break it up into small pieces, you set your goals, and you have to stay on target. And when you're not on target, like I'm sure I had a month where, I was short. Maybe I closed like 2. And my goal for that month was 5. Okay, well, I'm in the negative that month, but then I got to up the ante for the next one.
Sure.
So I think September of last year, I closed 9 or 10. Like that was a
Oh,
huge
wow.
month
Should have
for me.
massive,
That's
like,
a massive month.
It's kind of crazy to think about it. But yeah, this month last year, it was 9 or 10, and I was just like, I've got to hit this. Like I wanted it so bad, and that's something that you have to really want it. It can't just be like, oh, I just want the trophy just to say that I did it.
Right.
Oh, I just want the status of it or a chip on my shoulder. I feel like you really have to be like, no, this is something I want for myself, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get it.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, when you say it like that, it doesn't seem
Impossible.
impossible. It's just like, wow, like that was really broken down. Like that was.
anyone could do
Okay,
this.
like you really,
That's the goal, to
yeah,
make it
I
achievable, not like this distant mirage that you're just running after and you're kind of like, it's getting further and further away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and on my spreadsheet, this is kind of funny. I made 12 slots in green meaning like thumbs up, like we're closed, we're good.
Right.
And so there was like my 20 slots, and like at the end of each week, I would go into my spreadsheet. It's called gold. I'm kind of cheesy, but whatever. But you gotta think about it, like go for the gold.
Right.
Gold is valuable. It's worth a lot. So it's my gold spreadsheet, and it made these green, cell slots, and I needed to get to 20. And so at the end of each week, you just look and I'm like, okay, I've got like 4. I need to get to 6, and then after 6, it's like, okay, let's get to 10. And then another neat thing is you can break it down to referrals as well. So with EXP, as you know, like yes, you have to hit that production, but it can be listings. It can be, buyers. It can also be investors. It can be, so I broke it down to like, how many investors do I need to hit? How many buyers do I need? How many sellers and listings do I need? But then this is really untapped for a lot of people. It's referrals. Like I can still refer something out
Right.
and let that count toward my production.
So that counts towards the 20, like when you're going to trying to hit that, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm not like the sole agent on it, but because I refer it, I still get a piece of the pie, I still get paid, a proceed, and from that proceed, it still counts toward
Your cap or
your cap or your icon. And once I kind of realized that, I was like, okay, you have to really be willing to like squeeze every drop out of that lemon and be like, okay, what are all my angles I can hit?
She's taking
Let's
the lemon,
figure
she's
out a
like-
way. It's like a strategy, I really try to make a strategy for it.
No, that's amazing. So, Liz, what did you do before you were an agent? Just to get some background.
Get to know Liz.
Question. I've done like literally every job imaginable, from like a server at a restaurant to pet sitting and pet care. Like I mean,
Okay.
I've done it all.
So this isn't the first time you've done a commission-based job.
No, it is. It is. It's actually
Full
the first
commission.
time.
Like
a
full
commission.
commission job. Okay.
Yeah, I was a teacher for a while for Lynchburg City Schools. I
Okay.
did that for like 9 years, 10 years. I coached girls soccer. I ran my own business. Like I started a pampered pups with Liz, like a pet care business.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
did that for a while. I worked at law school. I worked in nursing school. Like you name it. I've done budget. I've done finance. I've done event planning. I've been an executive assistant. Like,
Yeah.
and so I look at my life and all these things, and I'm like, was it a waste? None of it was a
No.
waste, because it all literally prepared me to be like so good at the job I do now, because it gave me all these tools, from my experience of working with people in so many different dynamic
Right.
capacities.
So would you say that there wasn't as much fear going into this being a full commission job because you had so much experience, or was it still like
No.
just as scary?
No, I have to be honest, it was really scary because I quit my job quite on a whim. Like I didn't plan to quit it.
Which
It
is
was
against her nature.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was just like, no, I had no other choice. I was just it wasn't a great situation. I was like, I need to get out of this, and I was like, I really want to go after my dream, and that's
Yeah.
real estate. So why not? But doing that, I was terrified.
Terrified of it.
But what do people say? They say, if you don't do it scared, then why do it at all?
Yeah.
Because that means it's really like something that you desire and you want to go after. So to answer your question, honestly, like, no, I was really scared.
Really scared.
But I think that helped to propel me forward. Like, I couldn't fail in my mind. I was like,
Right.
failure is not an option.
Not an option.
This had to work.
Yeah.
I shared a quote with Renee earlier, and I said, get into the habit of asking yourself, does this support the life I'm trying to create, or is it distracting me from it? In terms of real estate now, were there habits that you previously had in your life that you felt like you had to shift or change in order to be successful, to be able to icon?
You kind of have to put a social life and family and vacations on hold. I mean, and that's not for everybody, but that was
Right.
definitely for me. You know?
I think it might be true for icon though, honestly.
Oh,
like I
okay,
think
like
if
across
you're
the board.
looking, yeah, age and just a standard agent may not have to do that, but I think at least your first year, I really think that's part of it.
I think you have to be
do.
willing to sacrifice, like all the fluffier things in life.
Right.
Great. Just kind of be like, okay, well, no, what's my focus? So that's definitely something. This quote I heard recently impacted me so much. It was about discipline. It was like the definition of discipline is what is it? It was like it's what you want now versus what you want most. That was like the paraphrase of it. It's like
Right.
discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now.
Because most is a future attainment.
Now it's like
immediate,
immediate gratification. Like I want a vacation now. I want to go out now.
I want to go hang out with
I
my
want to
friends
have
tonight.
drinks. I want to go out. I want to do this. That. It's like no. Like I had to literally make the decision. Liz, what do you want most? You know, and a prime example, I'm on a vacation with friends and someone's like, can you get off your phone? Like, come to the beach. Like, what are you doing?
I remember that. No, we zoomed. She's at the beach, like straight up in her like sarong and bikini. She's like
And
still
I'm like
working.
still doing business, still
Working,
grinding. But again, that was my decision. Like, what do I want most? I'm here right now on the beach, but I want most to icon. Like, that's what I want. And you have to be
Right.
willing to like step away from the party and the people and the family and be like, no, I need to take this phone call. Like, these are my clients and they're my priority. So yeah, that's definitely something. What was the question was? Is it supporting like the lifestyle that I want?
Yeah, does it support the life you're trying to create, or is it distracting you from it?
Okay, definitely not distracting me from it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the lily pad to get me to the next step in life that I want. My husband and I, we live in our starter home.
Okay.
It's a cute but very basic home. It's 3
Yeah.
bed, 1 bath, you know. So a goal we have for ourselves is, you know, we want to buy our next house, not some dream house, right?
Right.
But just the next level up that gives us more of what we need.
Yeah.
So definitely real estate's paving the way for that. And then Renee already knows my story with my student loans and the debt there. That's a huge sack around my neck that's been there for a really long time. I attended Liberty University, had to take out loans. And so definitely 100% real estate is supporting me in the lifestyle that we're trying to create.
Right. And having to be able to sacrifice certain things in order
To
to
get
achieve
there.
that. But knowing that long term, that's not necessarily what you have to continue doing.
Right. It's
But
just a season,
knowing where that goal
is
is.
what I tell myself.
Yeah.
I'm still in the season. You know, like, this is the season of me like putting all the things that I would love, you know, aside from what I want most, you know.
I would say maybe you can attest to this because you're into your second year now. So that hustle, that sacrifice for 12 months started kind of a turbine that now that you're in your second year, if you keep going, it speeds. And you're finding that are you finding now that you can create a little more space, or are you still like
No, I feel like I can, but also I feel like I have to. So
Mm-hmm.
admittedly last year was a really unhealthy year in terms of the work-life balance, right?
Fair.
Mostly because there was no balance.
Right.
It was like, here are the scales, and it was just like, whoop, you know, it's like one way versus the other. But huge shout out to my husband. He's amazing because this is a fun fact, and it's not fun at all. But like a lot of realtors, marriages don't survive, they don't last because of this, you know, work-life balance and how demanding it is. And like, he was so understanding and partnering with me to meet that goal, knowing that like laundry may not be done, the house may not be clean, dinner is certainly not ready and cooked, but I'm out there serving our community and these families, and like he understood that. So for him to like pick up the slack and not be like, oh, you're such a terrible wife, like
Right. That's a
family.
shared vision. You know, it means
Yeah.
you've got to bring that together.
Yeah,
So.
so that was definitely huge. But yeah.
And I think that's part of it too, is
Yeah.
surround, like if you're chasing this icon goal, knowing that the people that you're with in your close circle are supporting that chase. Like you have to chase that collectively.
Yeah, there are people that said, you need to slow down, you're gonna burn out. And I looked at them and I'm just like, respectfully, no I can and no I won't. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, that was the mindset. It was so like this fierce like lioness inside of me that I feel like was like, no, nobody can break my focus from this. Like I have to achieve it. That was just kind of like the mentality behind it all.
I think though, if you were to take what she's just said and compare that to like gold medal, like the people that have that big
Achievement, like
that to chase something out of the ordinary requires extraordinary things, including sacrifice. And I think remembering that there's seasons too, right? Like that gold medalist is going to train super hard in that season, and then they you know
celebrate and like need a bit of a break. I feel like that's where I'm in this year.
Yeah.
But what you said is so crucial. You have to surround yourselves with people that want to partner with you in that vision and support you, not say, you're doing too much, slow down, like, girl, you're crazy, like, take a break, like, and I understand these people, all of them that I'm referencing, they truly meant it in love. I know it, they didn't want me to burn out. They saw that I wasn't getting enough sleep when I was being crazy, right? But at the same time, like, I had that mindset, and I was like, I just can't not, like, I couldn't not, if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah.
Do you feel like the company provided support for you to achieve that status? Okay.
Yeah. EXP is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I understand that some people have left. I've heard even this week that a few people have left. And to me, I can't fathom that because I'm like, you couldn't pay me $1 million right now with a check on the spot, sign it and give it to me and say, leave EXP, take this check. I wouldn't take the check. I wouldn't even touch the check because it's so hard to explain what they offer if you're not here and you're only hearing it from the grapevine. And remember when I was considering EXP, how many people had said all these things like, no, this is that, you know, and I took it all with a grain of salt, figured it out for myself, but like, no, this company is amazing. They are so supportive and so collaborative. The technology is at the cutting edge. Like, everything's at my fingertips. The only thing preventing me from more income or more opportunity is right here. It's myself.
No,
it's not
true.
the company.
No.
You know, the company is so much like, no, we're here to help you succeed, and they give us all the tools.
You would even say, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jay Nelson, who would love us, and he's like top 20 in the world.
Amazing.
Yeah. He does constant trainings, and you were on many of those throughout this process, right?
Every week, I wouldn't miss it.
I thought so. The Tuesday, like how to find business lead gen class,
Tuesday masterminds. So Jay and Ashley Nelson, shout out to you guys, we love you.
What's up?
They have a big agent group and they really pour into us every week without fail.
Wow.
I mean, no matter what's going on in their life, in their family, in their business, we're all there on this call. It's live, it's a weekly mastermind. We collaborate, we share wins, we share losses, we strategize, we challenge each other. And like, if not for that, hands down, Renee's absolutely right. There's no way I would have been able to do it because I wouldn't have had a community behind me. I would have just been like this little hamster on a wheel all by herself, you know, looking around like, well, I need some help and there's nobody here with me, you know? So they were huge. Like EXP and the group I'm under with Jay and Ashley Nelson in Nashville, Tennessee, like huge. Owe them a lot to where I've been able to get to.
That's amazing. So now that you've hit icon, so I guess two-part question: are you going to continue with that? And what's one piece of advice that you would give to other agents that have not hit this yet?
Okay, so absolutely. Like, it's kind of like you have a piece of the dessert, and you taste the cake, and you're like, this cake's amazing. And then, of course, when someone brings you to serve you more, like, do you not want more cake?
Right.
Absolutely. And so, like, if I could do it in my first year, I'm like, well, I have to be able to do it in my second. You know, it's kind of like this pressure that's on yourself. But no, absolutely. That was my goal again this year.
Okay.
So I think a couple months ago, I capped, and I was like, all right, check that box.
There you go.
You know, like I capped, and then once again, back to my gold spreadsheet, I was like, all right, we've got 20 cells to hit, and I've got to hit them in however many months I have, right? So as of right now, I'm halfway there.
Okay.
So I've got 10 closed, and I've got 10 more to get. I have until the end of January, and sure enough, I have set to try to get 8 more under contract in the next 4 weeks.
Wow.
So that's my current goal right now, 8 under contract in the next 4 weeks. I just got 2 under contract last week. So
Okay.
it's like I'm trying to 2. You know, it's all about stacking.
Right.
Stacking good habits, but also like goal stacking. You gotta start small and then keep until you hit that, that one that you're trying to get to. So yeah, halfway there, I really hope I hit it. If I don't, it's not the end of the world, but I'm not gonna not go down swinging.
Well, you hit me up if you struggle, because we could team up on a couple deals to get you.
Yeah. My husband even said, this is so funny, we're going to be selling our house soon, and he was like, well, maybe we're going to be the two to get you to Icon, like to sell our house and to buy our new one.
In the end, look,
There you
that's
go.
what pushes them to
Right?
the market.
Exactly.
She's like, I need these two
Get these
sales
sold.
people.
I don't care,
It's
whatever it
all-
takes, I'm like, if I'm that close, I'm not missing it. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
selling somebody land or something to make sure I don't miss
I'm
that.
buying $1,000 piece of land. It's coming.
So yeah, it's happening, it's in the works, hoping to be a 2-time Icon agent, so we'll see in February if I make it. And then the second part of your question was advice.
Just advice for anyone that hasn't hit that goal yet, or any new agent that's coming in, just in terms of, any advice you would give to them to achieve their goals.
Yeah, so first just look within yourself, because like you have to ask yourself the question, why? Like, why do you want to achieve this? And everyone has a different story. Obviously mine was, to prove something to myself, as far as like, I'm not here to just sell 5 homes a year. Like, I'm really here because I want to make an impact. And I tell people all the time, like, this isn't my job, it's my joy. That's not a cliche. Like, that is
I like that.
legitimately like the essence of why I'm here in real estate. Like, I quit my job to do this, not to make a paycheck, but literally to make an impact. And so that's my why. It's really big. It's always at the forefront. It's like, I'm here to put your family first. I'm here to serve, but also like not on a small level. I really do want to be like someone who is achieving at not a baseline level. Like, I don't know, and that's how I am in everything. Like you mentioned competition. Like you're like, Liz, it's kind of innately in you. Like, I am. I'm super competitive, and I don't mean to be in real estate. I don't mean to be in real estate, but one thing is I don't compare myself to other people.
No.
I can't. Because
She's
I can't.
competing against yourself.
Right.
Yes, and that's
Exactly.
something to make clear to these new agents. Like, don't look over on the other side and go, oh my gosh, they're selling 45 homes, 80 homes, 50 homes. Like, you can only compete with you. And so that's who I'm competing with last year. I can't compare myself to someone who's been in the industry 8 to 10 years. When I'm literally, a year and a half going in to start my second year.
Right.
It's like, you can't really do that. But anyway, look inside yourself, ask yourself the why. Figure out the meaning and the purpose behind, like, what are you doing here? What are your goals? What's going to set you apart? Like, we have over 700 active agents, close to 1,000 just completely here. Like, what's going to set you apart?
Right.
Every person knows at least 7 to 10 other agents. So it's like,
Right.
you have to figure out your branding, your vision, your message, and then if your why is X, Y, or Z, then make your plan, build it out, and go after it. But you have to be disciplined. Like I said, you can't just go at it willy-nilly. You really have to be like, all right, here's my focus, here's my energy, here's my time,
Yeah.
and this is what I'm set out to do.
And if you're listening to this and you're a newer agent, rewind to where she told you about her goals.
Yeah,
And like
that
going
was-
through how she broke
was
it down.
amazing.
I actually sat down with Fred and did the exact thing 2 days ago. I said, here's Icon, here's what Icon looks like.
Right.
Because there's agents, I didn't sit down and do that with you because I'm still like, I was still trying to get
Right.
my thing going. And like, so now that I'm in motion and it feels like I have a pace, I'm like, oh, this is what you just said is so valuable, which is why I wanted to bring you in. Because I'm like, you are in a small percentage of people that Icon within their first year. So if you're listening, you haven't Icon yet, don't be discouraged.
That's okay.
You're still in a fantastic company, and she just gave you the tools. Now you've got leverage, you've got experience.
Yeah.
You can set that goal for your, current or next year. But yeah, like everything you said is gold.
That was amazing. No, that was so good.
And don't forget, if you're with EXP, you have to go into the world and you have to take classes, take training, like it's all there. So when people leave and they're like, oh, I didn't have the tools, I don't have the training, remember, what did I say, whose fault is it? Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your own, because it's all there at your fingertips within your reach. But if you just sit there with your hands folded and you don't access any of it, it's not going to benefit you.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why our company is just top notch.
So much information.
Top-notch.
No, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. We love talking.
Yeah, that was so good.
Thanks for having me.
Liz, you don't know this, but we always end our episodes with fun fact
Which is so
Friday.
funny because you said fun fact in the middle of it. I was
I
like,
know what you said.
not
I was
that, not that.
She didn't even know. She didn't even know.
I had no idea. Okay.
No, so Fun Fact Friday. All right, so these are just fun facts just about whatever topic that we're on.
Okay.
So this one is deeply American, so this probably is not something that happened in
Canadians like
Canada.
what?
So, but apparently, eagles used to symbolize freedom from monthly payments.
Monthly payments?
So there was a time where homeowners would celebrate the full payment of their mortgage by putting a cast iron eagle on the outside of their home, and it
Gosh, we
was
gotta gift that to our clients.
right. Yeah, so that was to announce to the world that you were free
Free.
of mortgage payments.
Okay.
Isn't that not cool?
That is really cool.
Talk
Very
about-
cool.
yeah.
Cast iron
So if you
eagle.
see a cast iron eagle,
I will
on the side,
wonder.
you will wonder
Yeah.
that they probably paid off
They
their
owe
payments.
that.
So I was like, that's kind of
That's
cool.
awesome.
That is
Yeah.
really neat.
So, all right.